Hello, everybody! Hello! And his name is John Cena. I mean, the real Skeleton Kill Man 4. Hi, Skeleton, how's it going? You're the first one in. Well, I don't know if that's entirely accurate. I think we have a couple of lurkers. But, either way, good to see you. So, here's the deal. We've got some options. Let me, first off, hey, Skirner! Welcome. Welcome, Skirner. Good to see you. So, we have a couple of options. So, as you know, we are building that, or at least trying to, building something based off of that. Now, let me show you a little bit of the progress thus far, and then I have a serious question to ask about the direction of the project that we take today. So, be attentive, because there will be a short quiz. Hey, Chuck Nasty, welcome, welcome, good to see ya. Alright, so these are the these are the pieces that we've completed so far. And of course, remember that if you have to leave, this is being simultaneously streamed to YouTube as well as Twitch, so you can catch anything that you've missed on YouTube. So, oh, no worries, Terry. I look forward to catching you perhaps later on tonight. Have a good one, Terry. Have a good one, and thanks for swinging by. So this is the helmet that we finished. It needs a little bit more work. Notably, this edge needs to be adjusted a touch to line up with this edge, and we need to put some more design work onto it, into it, or what have you. Notably, it will at least have a strip across the top and a little bit of embellishment here. Now the question becomes, I'm sort of hoping to go for a sort of design that blends classic Mega Man and classic Mega Man and X. So, for example, I'm not opposed to making some larger, rounded bits here, but it won't be, like boom, pop out. There'll be subtle suggestions, hints, a design, a bas relief on this side that comes down the side, a little bit like what you see to the right, but instead of coming flat back this direction, like it does, we'll probably go for maybe something rounded, and that's my thinking on the helmet. So that is a little bit of the future plans on this. And in a minute, I'll adjust the camera and actually put this stuff on so that you can see it all on. This piece, which is the offhand piece, is not entirely finished. I'll need to be... Oh, I mean, of course, none of this is entirely finished. We need to add paint and such. But one of the things that I'll be... Oh, you know what? I just realized I don't actually have any music playing at the moment. Let's fix that. Let's fix that real quick. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, there we go. There's the music. Actually, you know what? We don't want to play that. That'll probably get the stream muted, which is going to be detrimental for anybody who comes later. So let's play that stuff. Okay. Yeah, we'll skip this one. Yeah, well, something like that. How much of the costume am I making? Good question, Skeleton. Oh no. Oh heavens no. I've made the chest piece. I'll be making the back piece, the blaster on the arm. I'll be making the cod piece, the thighs, gosh, what's it called? It's the shins, as well as stuff for the boot, and I'll basically be making the whole thing. The only bits that I won't be for some overclocked remixes. Oh, that's a good call, Skirner. I'll punch up some overclocked remixes in a second. But what we've got here is I'll basically be making all of it. Not all of it will be exactly identical to what you see It will be instead a little bit different, something a little bit more fitting of my skill level. But anyway, so this is the offhand, right? This is the left hand, the hand that you can't quite see in the picture. There will be a little bit additional detail put on here, but this will be the left hand, and I'm actually debating about making some cuts in here and actually putting a couple of LED lights, one in each of these segments. But that's going to come at the very end. I should say that'll come just before we do the painting and such. So yeah. Anyway, that's this. And then last but not least, the chest piece. There's an underpiece and an overpiece, and as a matter of fact, if you look on this, good morning, Kane. Good to see you. And if you look on this, you'll actually be able to see it a bit more clearly with Zero's armor here. That's sort of how it looks. So that's the design I went with. Now. So the question is, and the decision we need to make is, I can continue to work on the helmet by adding the extra pieces, or what I think would probably be better to do would be to make the make some of the lower body pieces, design and make the cod piece, or design and make the upper thigh, or the thigh piece, or even the shin. Reason why I'm leaning more towards that way is that to accomplish the effects that I want to do, I'll need to use the Dremel, and this stuff gets incredibly messy, and as you can see, I am, of course, inside. As such, I would prefer to do all my Dremeling outside, but I don't really have much of an option for doing that, because sadly I am ever so slightly tethered, and I don't think the Ethernet cable will quite reach to the outside the front door for doing that.
There's a time for words, and then there's a time for action.
Thank you! I'm gonna call you Kudo90. Welcome to the stream, much appreciate the follow. You'd go with the lower part of the suit? Okay. Then I think that's what we'll, you guys you're welcome to weigh in. Do you think I should keep working on this? I'll show you a little bit of the materials that I'll be using for the embellishments on the helmet, just as soon as I can find them, that is. They were around here just a few minutes ago. Ah, there we go. Blended in with all the junk I've got sitting on the couch here. So I went to Joann's Fabrics earlier, and I got myself a bunch of these smaller sheets of foam. I'll hold up the white piece because it'll be easier to see in relation to the dark gray. So, as you can see, it's about half of the thickness. Yeah, about half the thickness, a little bit more. So it's not quite, the protuberances aren't going to quite be this profound, but nonetheless enough to make a definite thing, and then the very, very itty-bitty details will come around with, I'll be doing with the very thin craft foam, so that it just looks like, little bits and pieces, designs on the thing itself. So anyway, that being the case, I think we'll go with the lower part of the suit. Skeleton Man so far has been the only one who's weighed in, so Skeleton Man, you win by default. The two greatest words in the English language. Default, default. Alright, but now comes the time for me to go ahead and throw this on, so that you guys can see it. I'll adjust the camera, and then put on the suit for you to see, so you can see the progress thus far. So don't mind the messy house. Or at least if you do mind the messy house, try not to be such a jerk about it. That's odd. What is that? I have no idea what that is. And it's not there in real life. It's gotta be a trick of the light. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Because it'll only be there for... Oh! It's the toggle on the ceiling fan. Alright. So... very, very good. Very good. Yeah, actually, I'll show you my rig in just a second. But yeah, it is way up there. It makes it a lot easier for the for the angled shot. But good pun there, man. Alright, so this is the helmet. Still needs some work. You know, some small changes still in order. Front piece. Of course, it's going to connect to the back piece. So yeah, that's the armor as it stands so far. Other pieces that still need to be made: back piece, basically the entire lower body, and everything else. Thanks. A harmless pie. Thanks. I'm gonna call you Pie. I hope you don't mind. But now I'll just go ahead and show you the rig real quick. What I've actually done is I made a desk that converts to all the various things that I need. Sorry about that. So, little bit disorienting, I know, but alright. So, first off, the desk is actually, built onto a mobile little station, so that I can move it around wherever I need to do the stuff. Then, the main structure is actually two pieces of perforated angle iron that are, you know, fixed together in multiple places, so that I can actually change and adjust the keyboard height and the monitor height at my leisure. It is quite tall, you know, places where I can hang stuff, and I zip tie the cables from the desktop. I know it doesn't look too pretty right now, but I've been moving a lot of stuff around. I twist tie the cables inside of the perforated channel so that it all looks nice, except it doesn't right now. So anyway, this actually permits me to basically do anything and everything I want, while still while not having to fiddle around with too many, you know, with too many things. So there we go. So that's the setup. I built this desk for $50, and the only thing that's not amazing about it is the keyboard. The keyboard tray. It could use some work. I should have made just one solid piece instead of maintaining the rolling aspect, but when I built it, I kind of thought that would be important, even though it's not. So anyway. But yeah. Okay, cool, Pie, no worries. Good. I'm glad that you guys like it. And so, anyway, that's the computer. So, we'll get to work on the lower body. Now, we've got two options on the lower body. I am not yet prepared to work on the feet. But I have made some general sketches on what I think would be a good call for the shins. For the shin pieces. Additionally, I've also done a little bit of research on the thighs. Let me show you that. So, with regard to the thighs, what we're dealing with is a piece that you know, is going to wrap around. As you can see to the to your left here, what's going on is that piece goes it cuts down around the groin, but it stays high on the hip, now, obviously, there's a second piece on the thigh. There's a second higher piece. It's a little bit more clear to see on Zero's thing here. This gray portion here that comes up a little bit higher, but it's clearly two pieces. Hey, Kame, how's it going? And as a matter of fact, today's going to be special because we're kind of breaking into uncharted territory just a little bit, because we'll have to actually make the pattern and do it sort of as we go. But anyway, so what we're looking at is we're looking at this piece here. This piece here is actually not for this armor. It was made for, oh gosh, Mass Effect armor. So if you were, doing a Mass Effect build out of foam, and julianbeak.nl/blog. She has these nice files that you can resize to your exact specifications, print them out, piece them together, and Bob's your uncle, Franny's your aunt. You've got, a piece of armor. So anyway, with regards to the thigh, some of these things will, of course, certainly be staying. Some of them will be going. So just to give you an idea of how this flat piece translates into the actual armor, in the Mass Effect armor, it doesn't actually connect really all that much on the other side. It's mostly left a little open, and it closes with some Velcro. You don't have an Uncle Bob. And then this up here, this whole area kind of curves around to give you an idea of how that would lay on me, because this is actually sized for me. I have sized it for me. This round piece is sort of a butt plate, if you will, but it just comes around like so, doesn't go all the way around, and this piece comes up because in the Mass Effect armor, instead of actually having a cod piece that goes all the way around, they have a cod piece that comes down off of the main torso and just sort of comes right here. Nice. And so it anyway, it just comes down off the main torso. So in that armor design, they actually do want it to terminate there, and then so they've got range of motion. Now in our particular case, that can't work. So we need something wider to go around, and we need something that squares up, that kind of comes up like so around the thing. Now, we can still take some important lessons from this Mass Effect armor. Someone has done a lot of work to put this information out there, and it is valuable even though we're doing something a little bit different. Says it, you think of Call of Duty. Oh, for the COD piece. Yeah. I don't know why they call it a COD piece. That would be a good little something for somebody to research. I'd be interested to hear it. Sorry about the airplane if you can hear it. I'm actually really close to a regional airport. And by really close, I mean across the street. Yeah, I am in the flight path. It is not, it's not amazing. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with as far as that. But Mega Man, and of course by extension Zero's design in this, you can clearly see has a full belt and cod piece that comes all the way around. Alright, perfect. Look forward to your report, Skeleton. So, naturally, like I said, we will want something that connects, or pretty close to connects, probably about an inch down or so. Well, an inch, that's like 3 inches. Like 3 inches down, because that'll give us room for the belt and cod piece. But also, we want it to come nice and sharply up in a similar fashion. This, goes from here up. We want more of a less steep angle. So in this case, we'd probably come up something like that and cut it a little shorter, and then do our thing. But we'd also need this to be wider because this design was not meant to go around. So personally, I would prefer to tackle this another day, a day that I've had a little bit more time to plan out this, and instead I would prefer to press forward with the. Oh gosh, where did it go? Ah, here we go. I prefer to press forward with the shin, and so that's what I think we'll do instead of tackling the thigh today. So those of you who were really hoping to see me make thigh armor, sorry, we will get there though. We will get there. I honestly think though the part that I'm most excited to build is actually the blaster, because I have a really cool design for it. And for those of you who haven't heard me drone on about the Mega Man blaster yet, the design goes a little something like this. Man, I kind of wish I had some more effective visual aids, but oh, actually, I've got those. Just a second, let me grab something to show you how it's going to work. Word origin, from earlier cod scrotum of Old English cod bag or pod and piece. Nice! That is perfect. Okay, I'll see you when you return, skeleton. So, basically, what's happening is we're not making like a cylindrical piece. If we were, that would be super easy. Instead, what we're making with the blaster is we are making one piece at a time, Mac, yeah. Instead, what we're making is we're going to be making a sort of American football shaped, generally, but not quite as sharp in its angles. Because what's going to happen is the blaster. Hey DW, how's it going? Welcome. Drunken Wolf is an awesome person, BT Dubs. So if any of you don't know him, you should get to know him. Anyway, so, where was I? Oh yeah, so basically what's going to happen with the blaster is that the blaster is going to be split down the middle as two separate independent pieces, right? They are actually both going to strap to my arm and have an actuating piece. No problem, DW. So it will actually be about this length in size, because that's about how big my forearm is. Maybe a little bit shorter, because I want to be able to bend my arm a little bit, but because it'll be rather tight and it will balloon out and then close up again here, it should be fine with it. You know, I'll lose a little bit of mobility, but not too much. Well, anyway, as I was saying, it's split down the middle, and then each half will move from here to here over my hand. So the pivot point will be right about here, and it'll pivot from here to about here, so that I can have my fist balled up inside of it, and it will close around my fist. Now, I've debated a little bit about putting a spring load in there so that I can, you know, just push it a little bit and it'll go, and each side will go like that. But I think that's a little bit beyond my skill level at the moment, although I will experiment with it. But the blaster is definitely going to be the most challenging technical piece, because of that swinging motion. And the reason I want that swinging motion is I don't want something too large, which, you know, it would have to be at least yet that big around, which would give tons and tons of, you know, sort of wiggle room if I were to just kind of slide it forward. But I don't want to just build it around my hand, because I want to actually use my hand for things. I mean, crazy notion, I know, but nonetheless, wouldn't you? If you were going to be at a party, wouldn't you want to be able to, you know, use your right hand, hold a drink, have more than two hands at any given point in time? I think you would. And so, hence my desire to make this in such a way, make the blaster there. Skerner, thank you for the host. You're awesome. So, Skerner, when am I going to see you stream next? BT Dubs, by the way. maybe I need to be up later at night. Maybe that needs to happen. So, anyway, so what we'll be working on today is we'll be working on the shin piece. Now, the shin piece is going to be fun because it'll actually, if you look closely at the leg, I've got as both Mega Man's as well as there. How will you tango with Miss Max? Exactly. How on earth am I going to tango at the Halloween parties with Mrs. Mac if I don't have both my hands? I can't do it. And if it's big, and that's another problem with making it too large. DW, thank you for the host. I don't know if my hosting alert is on cooldown, so if it is, you're awesome. But if it's not, then Carl Sagan will do it for me. But thank you for the host. So, anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so the arm piece. If I do it this way, and it is more technical, I can make it more compact rather than the bigger around, which would also get in the way of tangoing with Mrs. Mac. So, yeah, it looks like Carl Sagan's on a cooldown, not of my own design. Well, Skerner, I wouldn't know. I'm actually a teetotaler, so I don't drink. But yeah, how would I drink anything with the offhand? So anyway, back to the foot, back to the shin and shoe, especially focusing in on the shin piece. Now, it is very clear that there are a couple different pieces. It's a bit more clear from the Zero costume than from the Mega Man costume. But from the Zero foot over here, it's very clear that we've got a piece that comes up and over. We've got at the very least 3 different levels on this. That's what it has the look of. And so we've got this piece down here, which is the base piece. We've got a second layer and then a third layer just right here. So that being the case, I drew up first I drew up a preliminary what that might look like. And I know this is going to be a little bit small, but nonetheless, it's there. Have to get in the right mood. Wish I'd have to stream some more Gianna Sisters. Okay. Well, I will keep my eyes peeled for the next time you stream so that I can come around, Skerner. Because I enjoy your streams. Oh, and DW, we need to get on Ace, because he needs to do some more streaming. I haven't seen him in a while. Maybe Darkest Dungeon took it out of him. Could have been. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so basically I made this sort of... And then there's a floating kneecap piece here that I'm not actually going to make this... I'm not actually going to make that, that piece. I'm not going to make it... Oh, he's moving! Tell me he's moving closer to you, or closer to somebody, you know, in the group. So basically, that kneecap will just be a separate piece that I'll glue in there. He just got a job in New York. Wow. New York, that is crazy. Good for him. I need to send him a tweet and congratulate him. And he gets his apartment today. Sweet. I mean, okay, I hate to make a joke, but I'm gonna. Poor Ace. Now he can spend 3/4 of his paycheck each month on rent. 'Cause it's insane in New York. But of course, he knew that. He made the decision. Clearly, he's got things going on for him. So, near another of our friends, but I will be moving next month with much more room so he can visit. Oh, okay. Are you moving to a different state or just a different city, DW? So anyway, the kneecap will just be floating a little bit, but I'll actually glue it in there. But it will give the appearance of a completely separate piece, just like your patella. So, anyway, I then revised the idea a little bit because if you look around the back, piece number 2, layer number 2 actually is the layer that connects around the back. and then, of course, the base layer, the base layer goes up as well. So I've made some just a different city. Okay, good, good. Not quite as bad, or maybe more bad, depending upon the way you look at it. I don't know. Maybe you want to be, going all the way someplace completely new if you're going to move. But I'm sure that it's going to be a good move. So basically, what we'll be working with here is I've revised the design, and we will accomplish most of these layers instead of in individual pieces, like full thick-on pieces this thick. We'll accomplish the separate pieces with the thinner foam, so that it has a thing. So we will have one base layer. We will have another layer up here. That is, both of those are done out of the full thickness foam. And then the medium layer, the sort of layer 2 that fills in the gaps, will be making with the thinner foam that I don't think everybody's seen, but it's this, oh gosh, what is it? 6mm foam sheet. Foamies. I went to Joann's Fabric and picked them up, but to give you an idea of the size difference, it's not quite half the thickness of this stuff. So, but that's what we'll use for for giving the appearance of that middle layer. It's a 4-bedroom with a yard and way more room. Ooh, square feet to 2,000 square feet. That's not counting the front yard. That's fantastic, man. From now on, it's Dungeons and Dragons over at your house. And, crashing at your house, too, because 4 bedrooms. I mean, you can put us all up as long as we're willing to sleep on a cot. So, anyway, that's where we're going. I don't actually need the blue foam, because we'll be making this out of the other foam sheets. I went and I purchased a bunch of the foam, the sort of blue, green, yellow, the cheap stuff. Actually, it was more expensive than the stuff I picked up from Harbor Freight, but that stuff I wound up buying to do practice pieces out of. And I learned a lot from them. You're currently moving in with Greg and Dan. Oh, okay, sweet. So you can do live D&D. Sweet, that'll be awesome. It'll be cool to see more of Greg and Dan. So this is the stuff from Harbor Freight. Let's see, HFT I believe is a Harbor Freight brand. But these things, I was able to purchase them for $8 for a pack of 4, so I bought a crate. JK, I bought a case of 6 or 7, maybe it was even 8 of these foam bits. If I actually had a Harbor Freight within 50 miles of me, I would have probably just been like, oh, well, I can go pick it up later. But I live in a very spread out region of the country. It is 50 miles to the nearest Harbor Freight. Yeah. And, for scale, my state is the same square area as the United Kingdom. So, yeah. That's a thing. Or wait a minute, is it just mainland England? No, I think it's just mainland, just the main island UK. I don't think that includes. No, it is. It's the whole thing. Yep. The entire UK, my state, is the same square mile, the same area as the UK. Anyway, so yeah, this is what we'll be doing the piece out of, the piece of resistance. And yeah, oh, hi. Video games. Video Games 223. Hi. Didn't notice you. I'm live streaming to both Twitch as well as YouTube at the same time, and you're the first person to come in on YouTube. Sorry, I was just getting the stuff back there, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming around, and feel free to ask any questions that you may have. I'm just going to check one thing real quick here. Okay, good, perfect. Well, we're ready to get started. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press forward with making the actual pattern, because all I've got is I've just got a rough sketch and I have some measurements. Welcome back, Skeleton. Welcome back. So we're opening a nice fresh package because I've burned through 4 pieces already doing those 3 items, which bodes well because that means I should have enough to do the whole suit without too much trouble. These are actually significantly more useful than you might think because these will make good for doing a pattern. What'll be useful for the pattern, of course, is that I'll be first making one shin, and then kind of making the pattern based off of that, and then I'll be able to reproduce it fairly exactly on the other shin. So, we're hanging on to this. And, let's go ahead and put this away. You know, this is alright, music, but I think I'm gonna go for something a little bit different. So if you'll bear with me for a moment. Yeah. Let's do this. A little something more that, you know, a little something more popular. Something that I think more people will enjoy. Looks like video games came and left. Should have been paying closer attention. I really like classical music. I do. I think it's fantastic. I love the long movements in classical music. So, according to the measurements that I've taken of my own leg, as far as the shin goes, and I'll just kind of show you what's up. You need to add some amount to take account for the thickness of the foam, which winds up being around the neighborhood of 10% when you're dealing with the, you know, small areas. But alright, so basically, here we go. Yep, you didn't think you'd be getting the full tutorial today, did you? You'll have to forgive a little bit of wear on the bottom of my shoe there. Went on a motorcycle ride. Oh, sorry about that. So video games, thanks. I didn't want you to feel like I was ignoring you or anything. We go ahead and we take the flexible ruler, or the flexible measuring tape, and we take measurements. Since I like to have a little bit more wiggle room, I prefer to take the measurements over the clothing rather than under the clothing, although if you really want to see some leg, ooh la la, can I get a wolf whistle in the chat maybe? So, you know, I'm, let's see, so at the thickest part of my leg, my calf, I'm coming in at about 14¼ inches, which for those of you not on the imperial system is about 37 centimeters. So I'm not all that big. Classical's awesome. I will hear nothing against it. Blinded by the white skin. I'm sorry, Hoffman. It was they told me not to mess with the Hoff, and so I'm sorry. But it had to be done. Had to be done. Had to show a little leg. I have a 1982. Oh, video games. Oh, if you look right here, this costume, I am building that out of EVA foam. I'll show you just a modest bit of some of the work we did the other day, and you're welcome to check out. I've got most of the stuff put up on YouTube, so you can check some of that later if you want. But so, for example, here's the offhand, and it's not painted yet, so this will all get painted and such. And we've got the helmet as well, which needs a little bit of extra detail and such. but the whole thing is made out of this stuff. So yeah, so thanks for the wolf whistle. But a 1982 XJ650, and as a matter of fact, I recently did a thing called Slurpee Quest. It was a 5-hour round trip drive to get a Slurpee from where I live. So I went and I got a Slurpee, and I took the scenic route, which is why it took 5.5 hours. But I went through 2 national forests and 1 national park to get there, and that's actually all up on YouTube as well. Check something out real quick. Go for it. Thank you, Hoffman. I appreciate that. So anyway, basically, what I've done is I took my my 14-inch, and I added a little bit more for tolerance. So I added it out. Sorry about the planes. So I added the. I said that what I'd do is I'd do 17 inches, which is just about as far as this goes at the thickest point. Now, naturally, we will make, because I have to slip my leg into this. I'm not a big fan of making it all close with Velcro, but I will if I have to, and I do mean if I have to. So what we'll do is we'll make it. Sorry, somebody's giving me a ring. Just 2 shakes. Hey Dave, how's it going? Oh, I'm doing well. I'm streaming at the moment, but I can answer a quick question if you've got something. Okay, yeah, I'll probably be done by well before 3 o'clock, I think. So, okay, call you this afternoon. Bye. Okay. Sorry about that. Good friend of mine, haven't seen him in a while. Jordan S. Martyr. If you're here, thank you very much for favoriting the stream that I'm doing today. A 2001 R6. Oh, that's beautiful. Joshua Phillips. Okay, welcome to YouTube. So, anyway, here's what we're going to do. We are going to make a fairly similar in style to what we did with the arm piece, but on a slightly larger scale. So we'll be making it 17 inches wide, and this way, because this is the first one, if I need to make it shorter, I can just trim. It's not impossible, but it's really hard to make something bigger, than you need it to be, but it's easier to cut it down. So yeah. So basically, if I were you and you were undertaking something like this, and like me, you're not exactly sure how the pattern is going to be, you owe it to yourself to make all the pieces bigger and cut them down from there. Rather than trying to glue extra pieces. And as a matter of fact, on the inside of my left arm piece, I actually made it a little bit too short back here, so I had to put in an extra piece, but it just not quite as good. All right, Mr. Phillips, I'll hold on. So yeah, but a 2001 R6, cool, very cool. So let's get ready to design this pattern. Now, you'll have to forgive my my skills / lack thereof with regards to drawing and design, but so I'll actually be grabbing my straight edge ruler back over here to start getting this with a nice. Oh, well, the problem is there's no convenient way to mix the chat windows. I could try and add the YouTube chat window, but it's been really, really weird, and in my trial pieces, I can't actually get it to work properly. Skeletons has moved over to YouTube, so that's fun. So anyway. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm working on a solution, and part of the reason, even though I've got it's about 2,300 subscribers over on YouTube, most people don't turn out for my work on on YouTube, they'll check out a video, usually a tutorial, subscribe, and then never come back, which is kind of a shame. But nonetheless, every so often, I hope that they get the stuff and come around to check. And video games, I really appreciate you coming around to the stream. Same thing with you, Skeleton. Much appreciate. However, let's just face it, YouTube does a much better job of archiving footage, of keeping it, and this process is something that I don't want deleted after 60 days, and I want it to be easier to access. Things like, when you're looking through the video, you just hover your cursor over and scan through and you can see the screenshots, or screenshots as time goes around. No worries, Skeleton, no worries. But it is one of those where that type of thing's very important to me. Let's say I do a 6-hour stream, right? Let's say I'm streaming for 6 hours making a piece of the costume, and you know that you don't know when you left the stream. Heck, you don't even know when you came into the stream. You just knew I was at a certain point. You could just drag your cursor along the bar on the YouTube video and find. Thank you very much for the follow, Pi. Much appreciated. This is one of the. Oh, hang on. I need to go down here so I don't miss any of that. So this is one of those things where, because I want people to be able to find this and follow along or do it themselves, I want it to be well documented, and I want it to be easy to view later on. I feel like it's got to happen. I've got to put it on YouTube, and yeah. So there are other options. Like, for example, I could have done something like just recorded it locally, which, true, that's an option, but not a very desirable option. Okay, so we're looking at about 13 inches or 34 centimeters in length for you metric folk. Now that is fascinating. I wonder why those measurements are so off. Interesting. As much as I like YouTube, I'm gonna. It's a fantastic song, video games. It's actually a clip from oh gosh, what is it? True Survivor, from David Hasselhoff and from Kung Fury. All right, thanks. Thank you very much, Pi. I appreciate it. And whenever you come back, remember to say hello when you get here. I love to greet people. And welcome back to Twitch, Skeleton. Thank you very much for hopping on YouTube, though. I do appreciate it. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I took some measurements, and they are really, really weird, and I don't know how they exactly got there to that point. But, so I mentioned earlier that I was working, that some of my patterns actually come from Mass Effect armor, that PDFs had been put on. I scaled them to me, and did work on them. For example, here's some areas where I've modified existing patterns. Things like, that thigh or the arm piece and so on. But it does have a nifty thing for taking your measurements and putting them into this table and getting the number you want for the proper scaling for things to fit you. But my numbers are particularly off because unless I'm very, very, very much mistaken, which I'm not, I want to be going from just below the kneecap to the top of my 16. Okay, I can see where I was coming through on that one. So I'll probably do 18 inches in length. See, I'm doing YouTube on my phone, so you can't go to Twitch. Okay, no worries, video games. You're welcome. Please watch where you can. YouTube has some strengths. Twitch has some other strengths. For example, I think Twitch has better emoticons, emotes, if you will. But YouTube's video quality tends to be a little bit better when streaming. The delay is about the same though, so it's not all that bad. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll go for 17 inches wide, 18 inches tall, is what we'll do on this, and that's at the top. Now at the bottom, I'm going to do sort of a reverse thing from the the same thing for the arm piece. That there was a slit here for allowing things to go through. Now my foot does need to go through the shin piece unless I plan on just clipping it on, which is always a possibility. We are doing a little bit of a test today because I haven't done this before, but with regards to that, the smallest piece needs to be about as big around as my foot. Yes, as if my white skin wasn't bad enough, I'm wearing horrendous white socks. So it looks like I don't want to make anything shorter than 14 inches, even though my ankle weighs in at around 10. So what I'll do is I'll bring it down to 11 inches. Actually, we'll do 12 just to be safe. 12 inches down here at the bottom, which for you metric folk, that's about 30 centimeters. Down here at the bottom, and we will actually leave the last couple of inches, we'll leave those unattached at the very bottom. So, yeah. So that should give us what we need, the ability to slide a foot inside, but yet still have that back piece be pretty good around the shin, around the calf. So let's get moving with this. Now there is one other notable thing as I'm sort of making this sketch, and that is that, for example, EvilFX here on Twitch does a thing with. Let's measure from the base. Let's do 18 inches. Oh, sweet, right to the end. He does a thing where he actually makes the front piece one piece, and then he makes a separate piece out of the EVA foam, rounds it, and then just kind of attaches them together. So you've got this piece that's rounded, and then you've got a second piece here, so that kind of gives the whole, calf armor look. I really want to try and stick to this design, otherwise I would go that way, because it's really easy, his design. But, oh well, the things we do for accuracy, for art. So, let's see here. Okay, let's see. Now, at the base, I said I want it to be about 12 inches. So, let me just make a... Let's see. How big is this receipt? Or this, stocking paper it is. How many inches? It is... It's a little under 21 inches. So, so we'll round down. We'll say 10 1/4. So 10 1/4 inches in is going to be our center line. Just a skosh over 10 1/4. And so now what we'll do is we'll measure out from here. So we'll get 12 inches, line up 6 right there, and make our marks. Alright, so now I've made my my marks for the bottom piece, right? And let's go ahead and extend this up. People have a lot of ways of doing their patterns. I am by no means a professional. This is actually my first build attempt at anything. So if you see something that you think works better, please feel free to tell me. I may or may not do that. Oh gosh, I'm an idiot. You see, and this is why I'm such a noob, right? There was a much easier way to make a nice straight center line. Presuming that this paper is, of course, more or less straight and true, as the term is. Wow. Gosh, it's the simple things, really. Okay, so I'm a little off kilter, but that's okay. It's okay. As long as I'm pretty much on kilter with respect to the various bits. Yeah. Thanks, Kame. I tend to do that sometimes. Alright, and up at the top we're going to do 17 inches. Which means 8.5 inches here. 8.5 here on the center line. And then we'll plug this, make things harder than they need to be a lot. Oh yeah, it's an everyday occurrence for me. It really is. What do we got here? Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't need that. Okay. So, let's see, where was I? Oh yeah. So we'll put a nice mark over here at 17. And a mark over here at 1. And yeah, so that's our thing. We're gonna go ahead and just extend these lines, and then we'll cut out our pattern. Oh yeah, it's almost exactly 18 inches on this diagonal. Here. No, it's a little bit more than 18 inches because we're talking about. What, that's sine of 85 degrees? 90, 45, 75. Yeah, we'll call that 85 degrees. Pretty darn close either way. Okay. Okay, so just a nice light line. We don't really need anything more than that. And no, I do not need a virus scan right now. And no, I do not want you to optimize my computer. You stop it. Stop it now. Thank you. Okay, so I've just made pretty light lines because it's not like I need a lot here. But what we'll do is we'll trim it, and my blade of exact 0. Alright, this is one of those self-healing cutting mats. A lot of people use different things. For example, Evil FX, who I've been watching a lot of Evil FX lately because he's a professional. Uses what's it called? It's cardboard. He just has cardboard underneath his cutting area. Which, good on him. Welcome back, Skeleton. Welcome back. And of course, to everybody who's watching on YouTube, welcome. I don't have a good method for incorporating the chat from YouTube into the stream, but I am live streaming to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So yeah, if you guys type, I can see what you say. Has obviously seen the Lego Movie. I have, and everything is awesome. Although I'm not exactly sure which comment I made that makes it obvious. It was probably just something I said when I wasn't really thinking about it. You know, I do that a lot, especially when I'm focused in on something. I'll just say something. So, you know, those particular moments are inadmissible in a court of law, I'll have you know. Although, interestingly enough, in most states, you have to have somebody's consent to record, to record them for their what they say to be admissible in a court. However, however, as I'm sure would be rather obvious, somebody says something when they themselves are wittingly and knowingly broadcasting or recording themselves, then that's fair game. So, just as an FYI, let's not get too close to that thing here. The Knife of Exact Zero. Oh, of course, yes. And the fleeced scepter of Q-Tip. Man, that was a fantastic movie. It really was. It was the best full-length commercial I have ever seen. And again, I made this way harder than it needed to be. Yep, that's me. It wouldn't be me without really wasting everybody's time. That is me. Okay, let's see here. Okay, get that straight, line this up. Perfect. Okay, there we go. Now we have our pattern. But wait, there's more. This is not the only pattern that we need. This is just the base pattern. Remember, I said that we're going to need more than one because we've got a secondary piece that goes over top. So we've got this piece that's here on the front, which we also need to make. But we've got the base piece, and with this base piece, if I can talk, with this base piece, we'll be able to heat it up, to cut it out, to heat it up, and to encapsulate it around. But before we go there, I'm just going to kind of hold it how I should, how I think I would be how it would be lying, and see if I can kind of get my leg inside. Oh yeah, easily. It will be a little tighter when it's made out of actual foam, but that's fine because I made it more than big enough. Hey, Hoffman. Alright, I'll see you when you return home. So, anyway, that should be good enough for that. Now, with regards to the second piece, you see, I've got a lot of papers around, but none of them, I don't think I would be safe actually cutting up any of them. So I'm going to grab a sheet of paper that I know I can fool around with. Hey, Zach! Zach, welcome. Thanks for committing a Zach attack for Mac. It's much appreciated. So I'm going to get a, actually, you know what? This might be enough. Let me just take a quick look. It's going to be right up here at the top portion. No, this is just a little bit too, just a little bit not big enough. I'm going to grab a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, to make that last piece. So if anybody comes in while I'm away, feel free, please welcome them, assure them that something fun is going on, and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I have returned. Thanks for everybody sticking around. You like this one? Laundry! So, this song that's playing right now is one of the no copyright sounds. Let me actually see if I can figure out what it is. Let's see, it's near the beginning of NCS2. Properties. Did I include... this is either Fade, Young Ones, or Origin. I'm not sure which, but it's one of those. So, okay, so now we've got an extra sheet of paper, and this should be enough because remember, we don't actually need this to go all the way around because it terminates just on the sides. So this should be this should be just perfect. So we want to go down about yay far, and we'll come up a little bit higher than the base plate. So I'm thinking we'll do something about like this. So I'm actually just going to flip this around so it's more of, more of my thing here. But okay, so we need... Oh, that's right. Let's do this the easy way. That's right. I only need half of it. Only need half of it. Man. It's really fun since I'm kind of new to this whole thing. It's really fun to just to learn, because I really am learning a lot as I do this. So yeah, that's what we'll do. And we're only going to come up just a little bit, not a whole lot. But we are going to want to come to do a little bit of a rounded thing, so a slope. A slope down here. And then we'll make a little cut down like so. And then we'll come. Oh no, this is Young Ones. So that one is Fade. That last one is absolutely Fade. And then we'll cut in a little bit like so. And actually, we'll cut down just a little bit and take advantage of the flatness here, because that'll be fine. And then we come up in the middle, come up, over, and down, which in our case means we'll just come up. Let's come up. Let's come up less than. And again, what we're doing, of course, is we are doing less than is necessary. Alright, so here's the thing. Here's a question that I have for everybody, and I want to gauge your opinions on it. So we've got, of course, the 3 layers. We've got the bottom layer, the middle layer, and the top layer. The middle layer will be creating out of this thinner foam, so that we don't actually have to make it 3 layers thick, just 2. But as you know, this has a flat side, a smooth side, smooth-ish side, and a textured side. My plan is that I will actually do this the textured side out. Everything else it's been smooth side out. But because the base layer has a very, Young Ones is nice? Good, glad you like it. Listening to the audio, so I did hear the song name. Okay, good. So, so underneath, this bottom layer has a lot of designs on it. I think what I'll do, instead of trying to recreate all those designs, because I'm sure I would screw it up, again, first timer, I actually think what I will do is I will make the base layer the textured side instead of the smooth side. What do you guys think about that? Does that strike you? Do you think that's good? It should be nice because it'll make a stark difference between the smooth metal plates on top, and the under sort of mechanical style looking thing. At least that's my thought. So if anybody here has more understanding of this stuff than I do, or you think it'll look terrible, let me know, and I can be persuaded. But nonetheless, because this is a process of discovery, we're all sort of learning this together. You agree? Okay. Okay, Zach, thanks for the feedback. So again, I'm making these cuts smaller than I think they need to be, so that I've got more material, and that material, winds up being, I can cut the material away. Okay, and I'll just round that in post. Let me get this in here. I can do it. Once again, I am both live streaming simultaneously to YouTube as well as Twitch. So if you are watching on Twitch, welcome. If you are watching on YouTube, also welcome. Additionally, this will be uploaded in pretty reasonable quality on YouTube and archived, so that you'll be able to see it in the playlist Mega Man Costume. Now, I know that there are those who do cosplaying. Cosplaying's not really my thing. I don't get much into character, but yeah, that needs to be smaller. There we go. And a cut like... And a cut like so. Okay. There we go. Alright, so, and this is what this piece looks like, flayed out. And we'll take this piece, put it around, and I'll make some... that's going to look pretty dang good. And we'll put some marks here to let us know where it goes on. So that later on, when we're considering changes, so like, let's say it turns out that this is too big, or we wind up modifying it so that in the end it winds up being like this instead of that, we know exactly where the original laid, we can make the changes, we can make the cut, and then draw on the new one, because again, this is completely a process of discovery for us. We are learning together. So... And if anybody has any questions about the tools that I'm using, the stuff that I'm doing, feel free to ask. Information is meant to be shared. Just don't ask a question I've been asked a million times and have answered a million times. That gets annoying. I get that on YouTube a lot. People will not read the description of the video, and they'll ask me questions that are answered in the description of the video. As a matter of fact, I got one in the middle of this stream. But yeah, sadly at that point, I just stop answering them. So okay, that's what she'll look like. I think we'll wind up widening this middle bit, but nonetheless, that's something for us to consider later. And these bits will wind up, let's see, that comes up. Actually, this will be a good thing to sort of just tentatively sketch. Well, most of the time, so I've got some tutorial videos on how to flash custom ROMs onto tablets, and people will ask like, "Hey, the link isn't working. Please re-upload." But if they had just read the description, it would say, "Go to this place for updated drivers," because it actually works for some people and not others, because of the hosting service that I used had to close its doors in specific countries. So anyway, I hosted it someplace else, but the originals still worked for some people, so there was no point in taking them down. Just annoying that some people don't read. But yeah. Okay, so basically what we're looking at is something that comes... Ooh, I need a pencil for this. Yeah, it would be funny if it weren't so sad. Okay, I'm gonna do this in pencil because the likelihood of changing this is almost certain. Hey, gaming! Ah, we have a gaming raccoon over on YouTube. Welcome! Glad that you're, welcome to the stream. I'm live streaming simultaneously to both YouTube and Twitch, so if you see me reacting to questions that you can't see, it's probably because it's on the other. Additionally, all of this will be backed up on YouTube when I'm done, so you'll be able to catch stuff if you have to, come and go, and things like that. So now let's see. We're coming down at a reasonable angle off of the thing, and then we cut to the right, and then we just cut up like so. Okay. So that should take care of it, pretty much. And so that's what we'll be cutting out of this foam, and putting there on the middle layer. So alright, and then of course the bottom layer, and then the last piece, and the piece that I haven't really mentioned, is down here. There's a sort of rounded band, as you can see. Yep, there we go. So you can see down on his feet to sort of close it off. And we'll deal with that a little bit later, but that's just a very simple band. As a matter of fact, these, I mean, I'm not going to, but if I felt like I needed to, or if it would do or if it would do appropriately or properly, I would just, zip these pieces together like so, and put them around. I don't think that will be a very cool. I don't think that's a very good idea because of the pattern in the middle. But I don't know. I might try it out. See if it looks better than I think it's gonna look. Because that might not be the worst thing at the bottom. Oh no, gaming raccoon! I am not good at art. I am the worst person at art. This is all stuff that other people have done. I'm standing on the shoulders of the greats. That's how it's happening, gaming raccoon. That is what's going on here. But all I'm doing is just trying, by guess and by golly, to get through as best as I can. So, but now we're to the point where we will actually cut the foam. This is the floor mats from Harbor Freight. And now, I've decided that the base layer here is actually going to be cut out on the textured side rather than the smooth side to give a nice contrast between the various layers. But what we'll do is I'll go ahead and just double check here. Okay. Now, I could do something like line this up right here, but the problem is that we'll get some... Well, I mean, I suppose I'll clean it up with the Dremel tool later. Yes, I am. My current project is a realistic Mega Man costume made from EVA foam. And realistic should be in air quotes. Because let's face it, a fighting robot, not really a thing yet. Although they do have those big robots that they're gonna do that thing in Japan with, where the Japan and American teams are gonna fight it out. But that's not Mega Man. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm actually going to come a little bit off of the top here, so I've got enough room to pull. Nice. You know, Hoffman, I share your position. I live very close to work as well. The downside is that it always feels, it always the closer you are to work, the more it feels like you are at work, even if you are not at work. So we'll give a little bit of space, and that should still leave enough for this piece over here. Yeah, and because it's smooth, we don't need to make it any specific direction, but this one we must make a specific thing. So yeah. Oh, Gaming Raccoon, what are you going to look up, boyo? Sorry, sometimes I just, say stuff and I don't think about it. But yeah. Now, some people... Oh, the Japanese robot. Yeah, there's a delay between YouTube and the, and me. There's also delay with chat and Twitch. There's always going to be a delay. Actually, Hitbox doesn't have a bad delay. Hitbox has a really reasonable delay. But a lot of places incorporated it because, like, for example, Twitch wanted to play host to some of those gaming competitions, and so the delay had as much to do with bandwidth as it had to do with keeping people from doing from getting an advantage during esports. So there we go. There's our our bit there. The blind leading chains. How will I achieve the blue metal color? Fantastic question, Hoffman. Let me show you a little bit of how that will be achieved. So if you actually... Oh, well, thanks, Gaming Raccoon. Much appreciated. I hope you've subscribed on YouTube, and if you are a Twitch person, I hope you've also followed on Twitch, because I'd love to see you again. So if you see this on the inside, you can see the yellow. This was made out of the yellow foam, which is just as porous and just as everything as this stuff. And so what I did was I took this and I made the thing, and then I coated it in a thing called Plastidip. And so what that has done is it has created a thin plastic layer on the outside. Now, what that means is that or I should say, have you ever got your hands on a inexpensive pair of pliers and it had that very thin sort of plastic on it? Plastidip is a lot like that, which is perfect for the this armor because it gives it a a solid base, and then I'll be using blue metallic paint on top of it. And for the pieces that aren't supposed to be blue metal, I'll actually be using a probably, well, I mean, either a black coat or a silvery coat. But yeah, you can definitely see the difference between this matte and this gloss here, and that's how I'm going to achieve the blue metal color. I'll use blue metallic paint over top of a coat of Plastidip. You know, I'm a little disappointed with myself today because I seem to just keep misplacing my tools. I didn't have them all set out for me beforehand, and so now I'm paying the price. But on the plus side, though, I don't run an especially tidy ship, but I do keep everything in very specific orders. Plastidip is the name of the stuff. You can pick it up at, you know, basically any hardware store. I picked mine up at the Home Despot. Yes, the Home Despot. Okay, I just made a quick I just made a change. Let me know to something real quick. Let me know if you experience issues with the stream. Okay. There shouldn't be any problems, but you know, I need to sharpen that up. Hang on, gotta go get my whetstone. Okay. Okay, good enough. Good enough. Let's rock and roll. Little Mega Man joke there. No, no. Bah, humbug. Okay. Does it retain its foam flexibility after Plastidip? It will stiffen a little bit, but it does retain some of its flexibility after Plastidipping. But not all of it, so it will harden up a little. Now, let's see. Again, I am following the sort of doctrine here of making sure that it's larger than I need, so that I can cut it down later. And I am using the straight edge here as a little bit of a guide. I could probably manage without the line, but I'm just so much less confident. I'm not good at this stuff. This is not something I'm good at. This is something that any of you could do at least as good, if not better, of a job than me. No worries, skeleton. Everybody can lurk. Anybody can lurk. The only thing I expect, though, is that when the time comes that I need your input, that you're there for me. Can you be there for me, skeleton? Can you? So anyway, with a nice and sharp kniffy, just do a nice smooth pull, and sometimes up at the top, you know, if you're not pushing down quite hard enough, you'll wind up not quite cutting all the way through. It's less desirable to do another pass, but you know, it's sort of this kind of tightrope. If you're pushing too hard, you're just going to dull the blade out. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Skirner. Skirner's here for me. So, but if you push too hard, you're just going to blunt your tip on the thing, on the razor. Sorry, excuse me. But if you don't, you know, and if you don't push hard enough, you're going to need to go over other passes, which is also less desirable. But, you know, it is what it is, and I think, yeah, I gotta do another pass through here. There we go. So I see that we've got one person who's lurking over there on YouTube, who hasn't yet introduced themselves. Welcome, welcome. I hope that you're enjoying this. Trying to, well, I mean, you can see in the picture, I'm trying to build a Mega Man costume. Semi-realistic, based off of the design that you see there, out of EVA foam, which is the type of foam that you find in a lot of things, like, for example, Nerf blasters use that kind of foam, so do floor mats. So anyway, here is our underside. I'm actually going to try and hold this close enough that you can see the texture. So yeah, it's got that texture to it, which should help because I've done more or less straight. Less, actually, but oh well. We must power forward anyway. The other one will be a little bit better. But when it's bent, I don't think anybody's really going to notice. Nice! Welcome back, Zach, and thanks, I appreciate it. I try. Now, if I were going for my own design, I've seen somebody just lightly score these things, and then heat them, and then they wind up... and then when they heat, the lines wind up separating, and it makes for a really cool effect. But I think a nice repeating pattern will give the look that we want underneath, especially after we've plastid-dipped it and put on the paint that we want. So, anyway, that does mean, however, that wherever we are putting, where we're putting these pieces, and where we're putting the other piece, where we're putting the other foam piece here. Those pieces I'll actually have to grind down this design area so that we can put the glue down to stick it on there. So, yeah. But now that I've got that taken care of, I'm just going to make a quick mark down the middle in pen. Wow, that did not work out so well. Let's try that again. There we go. That's a little bit better. That should let me position the things appropriately. So when it comes time to position, this, we've got a good spot to, to put it on. I'll probably wind up setting it a little higher than I originally expected. But c'est la vie, right? C'est la vie. All right. Now, do we want to cut out the second piece? No, I think I want to form decisions. I probably ought to Dremel this thing down before I bend it, cuz that'll be a lot easier. Ugh. Decisions. Yeah, it'll be easier to Dremel flat on a flat rather than whatever. Okay, so what I need to do then is I need to make the marks for this, and then I'll cut out, and then I'll prepare the other pieces. Let's do that. Line it up. And this is actually going to be fun because this guy, we're going to make him at a 45-degree angle. These underside cuts are all going to be at a 45-degree angle so that they slope up and outward, which is going to be a little tough in here, but we shall persevere. Now, if I want it sloping up and outward that way, we'll have to come in. So we should actually cut from the textured side for this one. Yeah, that'll do the trick. Now, I'm sure if I had something like a laser cutter or a band saw, I could make these cuts a lot cleaner and a lot easier. I know that there are plenty of people who use band saws for these types of pieces. So reason I'm doing it on the cutting on the textured side instead of the smooth side is that I want that 45-degree angle, but to get the 45-degree angle the way that I want, I need to slope it on the opposite side. And if you can't quite envision what I'm saying, don't worry. In a few minutes, we'll have this cut out, and then you'll be able to see it for yourself. Okay. So anyway, now we've got it traced out on here, and it's time to cut it. So, just by way of demonstration, let's just... we've got our simple, run-of-the-mill 90-degree cut like that. But what we want is we want a 45-degree cut. So on this, I'll be cutting inward, like so. And if this isn't really going to be that cooperative because it's such a thin piece, but when we, because it flexes. But when we do it, it's going to cut like that, and because we want this side out, you'll see. You will see. Let's just toss that. We can clean it up later. Okay. So we want the whole thing to be angled, and if we don't get a really good 45-degree angle, I'll clean it up with the Dremel tool later. Sorry, my nose is being a little weird. as was my throat. So, alright, so basically, we'll cut 45-degree angle the whole way, or roughly 45-degree angle. And it really, really helps to have a sharp blade and plenty of room. Actually, you know what? Let's Now, one thing it's really hard to do with these 45-degree cuts is to not go straight. Oh man! And I am putting deep cuts into this mat because I'm trying not to get it wrong. I hope you guys appreciate this. Like I said, really helps if you've got a lot of extra room around to do the cut. And I know I am definitely going to have to clean these bits up. So yeah, anyway, I've got enough mats though that I'm not worried about wasting too much foam during the process. Hey, SoCale, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, man. I enjoyed watching some H1Z1 the other day. Sorry I couldn't hang around too long. Mrs. the Maction wanted some attention. But we are working on the Mega Man costume. As I'm sure you can see from the beautiful graphics on the stream. So anyway, I'm cutting all these pieces at a 45-degree angle, give or take. And if I'm off on any of my cuts, I'll be redoing them, I'll be fixing them with the Dremel tool later. That was weird. Okay, and so now we've just got this last piece to do. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. It's got that nice beveled edge. Now this is the hard part. This is the really hard part. And for this, I'm probably going to have to use the Sword of Exact Zero, because there's no real other way. You know what? I'm gonna try. It's much easier to cut at the 45 with this. Yeah, I'll definitely have to clean this up. But, sorry, I'll check chat in just a second. Okay, and then for this part, I have no choice. I have to use the Blade of Exact Zero. Yeah. I'm glad that you feel that way. Mrs. Mac is the best decision. Well, one of the best decisions. You know, marrying her is one of the One of the greatest things ever. I kind of feel like, if I wound up becoming like the most popular YouTuber, Twitcher, all of the above, if I became the most popular, if I became PewDiePie, it would be the second greatest thing I had ever done. Electricity, like electricity. Oh, this is gonna be rough. No, this is for me. You see, the problem comes, SoCal, that if you look, just Google sometime when you get a chance. Google Mega Man costume, and you will come up with some of the most ridiculous, silly, cartoonish type things. Some people have done some good ones, but especially when they're trying to do Mega Man X, which is supposed to be the less cartoony of the electricity. Especially when it's supposed to be Mega Man X, who's the less cartoony version of Mega Man, people just can't seem to do him well. So years ago, I found the design that you see on the side of the stream. There we go. It's rough, but it's done. The design that you see on the side, and that design, I just felt like somebody needed to do Mega Man justice. So that's what I'm doing. Doing justice. Now it's got these, because I cut it from that side. It's got these. It's got these little burrs. So I'm just going to come through with the kniffy and chop off the very edge of this. And as a matter of fact, I think I was a little bit pessimistic earlier, because this is going to turn out a lot better. Turn himself into a robot, save the world from a mad scientist. So when I go to a convention with you, I've got to get it. No, actually, I do not go to. All my conventions are fairly Kappa. All my conventions are fairly, fairly run of the mill tech conventions and such. The closest I get to gaming is, of course, the E3. And even then, I don't, I don't dress up for E3. I do dress up. I look professional. I look appropriate. Okay. And now we'll just... Yeah, this little bit's going to need to be fixed up just a touch, but it's okay. We can take care of that later. In the meantime, I'll dress these edges so that it looks a little bit better. Zero would be sick. Indeed. Are there more pics, or will I design the front detailing? You want to be rushed yet? So, as a matter of fact, let me get the thing. Here's the thing that it's based off of. It's based off of this Mega Man Zero thing. As a matter of fact, if you type medieval Mega Man into a Google search, this will be like the third or fourth image that comes up, because the same artist who did this did a medieval version of Mega Man that also looks pretty cool. But this picture, I've taken out the background, so there's not extra details that I didn't need. But I'll be detailing the front a little bit. Yeah, there will be details. There will be details, indeed. I'm aiming to be done with the important pieces of the costume. The chest piece and back piece, the helmet, and so on and so forth by Halloween, because I don't really go to cons or anything like that. I've been to serious technology conventions for a long time, so cons, I mean, if I'm not reporting on something, I just don't feel like it's my scene. And that's most of what my YouTube work is about reporting and reviewing. Primarily at things like conventions, like CES, CTIA, Wireless. I do occasionally go to gaming conventions because I'm very big into games. But alright, so that's the piece. Beveled and cleaned. And so, of course, what we'll do is we'll be bending it. We'll be bending it around this piece. Hang on. You want to... So anyway, we'll be bending it around this piece, but the textured piece underneath, and then this piece on top, like so, and then there will be the mesial piece, or medial piece, or the medium piece right here that will wind up putting under, that will bevel to kind of we'll thin it out so that it doesn't offset the bevel too much, but we'll thin it up here at the top, and it'll go a little something like this, and it'll go down and come around the piece. But all of that, what we have to do is we have to get this stuff all sorted first, and then we can grind these pieces. The response you expected. Nice, good. So, for example, to glue well, we need to glue raw foam to raw foam, which if we were doing something like this, would be super easy, but we're not doing something like this. We're doing something like this to this, which means I need to take my Dremel tool, and I need to Dremel the area that this will sit, where this will sit. I need to Dremel that area off. I need to Dremel the bits off of there. So I'm actually going to finish drawing this piece, and sadly, I will not be able to do I will not be able to stream the Dremeling, because the Dremel stays outside. The Dremel stays outside for reasons. Among those reasons, oh gosh, come on. Among those reasons are number one, I don't want to get the dust in here. Got to do multiple passes with this pen to get enough ink down. Yes, good. So, anyway, that winds up being there. We turn this piece into raw foam. We also very gently turn this piece, this back piece, grind off that into raw foam, and then we glue them together. But before we glue them together, about this stuff, have you made... Nope! I have made... This is my first costume. The only reason I know how to do this is because I've been paying a lot of attention to people who do it, professionally. So I've picked up a lot of I've picked up a lot of oh, Retro Gaming Live retweeted my stuff. Thank you. Sorry, I got I've gotten a lot of evil. Come on. I never remember how to get to his thing. So yeah, record you doing the Dremel and put it on YouTube, Mac. Really? You want to see me doing the Dremeling? I mean, I know that would be somewhat useful, but... Okay, I'll tell you what. If everybody here thinks that seeing the Dremeling is something that they want, then let me know in the chat. And if enough of you say about and talk about it, I'll do it. So anyway, but with regards to this piece, we'll have to use 2 pieces. But where's our thing here? Let's go ahead and get our design back out. Because we'll need to do the same thing. We'll need to grind that area as well. So that's our design. I'm going to get another sheet of paper. Dremel, Dremel, do what's best for you, Mac. Thanks, Skirner. Well, it wouldn't be difficult to do the dremeling, but the problem is, well, okay, so I have to do it outside. This is, naturally, as all streamers should have, this is a corded internet connection, and my cord's just not long enough to get all the way outside, even though I've got the wheels on the desktop, so I could just wheel it there. But give me a moment, I'm going to get another sheet of plain paper. Thanks for your patience, everybody. So, you would like to see it, okay. Only 1 minute vid just to show how you're doing it and it finished. To stream it, I was thinking you could just use a tablet. Okay. Alright, SoCal, take it easy. Thank you very much for coming in. It was good to see you. So if that's the case, I mean, I would prefer, if I'm going to do it on video, honestly, I'd prefer to stream it. But, as I said, that's not an option. So what we'll do is, in that case, we will, in fact, I will record it. By Grabthar's hammer. By the sons of Warvan, you shall be avenged. You're keeping me near. Okay. Let's get this, where's our, here we go, here's our paper version. So I'm going to go see the Mad Max movie this evening with Mrs. the Maction. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. It just barely reached the cheapo theater. We don't have a dollar theater, but it is the less expensive theater here. And yeah, that being the case, I now feel like I can afford it. So yeah, definitely doing that. All right. So good. We've got that sorted. And so let's do this. Okay, and I think we'll actually just kind of cut back Well, I don't know. Maybe we could do the whole thing. We could do the whole thing, but man, that's going to be tough. So, let's do it like this. Yeah, let's do that. And if push comes to shove, we'll make something different with that. And you know what? I need my ruler for that, because I can't draw a straight line for the life of me! And this is why I am a terrible artist. I have ideas in my brain, but putting them onto paper is not one of my strengths. So, alright. OKC, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming to the stream. We're just working on on that Mega Man costume some more. Poor Mr. Nice Guy, working on a Saturday. Am I right? Let's see here. Okay. I noticed somebody else said something. I'll be there in just a second. Just gonna focus for a second on this. Now, I'm sure that there are easier and better ways to do this. Of that, I have no doubt. But a learning experience is what we signed up for. And let's just double check it against this piece. Yeah. Straighter. There. Okay. Good. Good, good. But anyway, even though we're not hanging out over in Mr. Nice Guy's channel, it's good to see you nonetheless. So now we'll go ahead and use the saber of exact 0. This is foam plate, 6mm, right? Yeah, 6mm foam plate, and this piece is EVA plate, beveled. There we go. Make those notes. Now, I highly doubt that I will forget how this is done between... Oh, that's interesting. I highly doubt that I will forget how this is done between now and, you know, and whenever I do the other piece, but just in case. So yeah, among other things, one of the things that I know that I'll be doing is I'll be recording the beveling and putting that up on the YouTubes. So let's go ahead and let's get this pattern cut out. We'll go fairly consistent on that line. I am getting better, though. That is one nice thing about this. I can tell that I'm getting better. I'm experimenting a little bit more. This is part of why I want to do the blaster last. It will be the most technical piece on the whole project, and to make that blaster look good, I will really need to draw on all of the skills that I have accumulated. And but before I can draw on the skills I've accumulated, I'll have to actually accumulate them. And that means practice. Practice, practice, practice. So that's what we're doing. We're doing lots of pieces, and most of the time, this is actually... Hang on just a second. This will be the first piece of the armor that I've constructed that I didn't practice beforehand. That I didn't create a that I didn't practice beforehand, basically. So yeah, that'll be the first thing. So just to give you an idea, what'll happen is this foam sheet will lay under, it will lay right between, oh, no wonder it didn't match up. I was using the wrong side. It'll lay just like this. That does not bode too well. Let's double check my placement. Okay, so this pattern is a little bit off. It's a little bit too angled there. Not quite angled enough there. Okay. So obviously my positioning is off somewhat. Hang on. Let's line it up on the edge real quick and see. Well, you know, the tolerances, I'll make these slightly larger than the... Oh, well, hello to Skeleton's little brother. Thanks for saying hello. According to him, he wanted to type it. Ah, is a much younger brother then? One who hasn't... Okay, yeah, no, that's good, that's good. I was just a little bizarre. But then this will go on. Now, instead of cutting it out of the white sheets, I think I'll actually cut it out of the black sheets. But nonetheless, we'll have a little bit here, a little bit there, and we'll be making 2 of them. So, let's get to chopping. It can get a little messy around here, I won't lie. But you know. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to have to put a... He's 3. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Let's go ahead, put that over there. And we don't really need this. I really like this song, by the way. We don't really need this stuff. So we'll put that back here. Protect your soul. Just a moment while I grab the other craft foam. Actually, I wonder... Oh, not quite. If I made that just a little bit shorter, I could squeeze... I could squeeze 2 pieces out of one. You know, actually, I think I'm going to make that change. I'm going to make this a little bit shorter so that I can squeeze 2 pieces out of 1 block of foam. Because if I do it this way... Yeah, no, that can't be done. That's too thick. I'm going to make it a little squatter. Down to town, from Milan to Saigon. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about that. Alright, let's see. Thank you very much, Sar Kazam the 99th. You, welcome, and thank you for the follow. So, yeah, definitely going to trim that a little bit, but where? Let's do that. Let's trim it at the top. Let's get rid of that top little bit, because I don't think it really adds all that much to the design. So night. Well, Cowboys, if you look on the stream, I've actually, I've actually written it, typed it on the on the stream. I'm making a Mega Man costume out of EVA foam. It's Mega Man armor. It is going to be off the hook. As I understand it, that's something you kids say these days. Off the hook. JK, I'm not so older. So older? I'm not so old. But I do like making the occasional joke about my age. When I'm a father, I will tell the greatest dad jokes. I will be the king of dad jokes. I already do a reasonable job of puns, but soon, dad jokes will be added to my repertoire. And it's kind of yeah, it's kind of doesn't really matter all that much. Oh no, is it? Oh, it's just barely enough. Whew. Totally by accident, not deliberate at all. So I'm going to need to be very careful on that medial cut. Okay, sorry. When I'm doing this tracing, I like to concentrate on it. I'll check the chat in just a second, boyos. What do we got? Okay. Let's see. Okay, where is it? What? If you look at the left, what's good? Off the hook. You're getting there, man. Thanks. Make sure you say all of your jokes in a deadpan tone. I'll try. Sir JJ, Sir Double J, welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. Play me in Madden. Yeah, they know each other. We actually have met through Mr. Nice Guy 425. He's a friend of mine IRL, and on Tuesdays we do a gaming talk show. Additionally, we go to things together. Like he went with me to GameStop Expo the other week, and that was cool stuff. So yeah. This is, you know how there's sort of like these friend groups? And it's just like, oh, you're a part of this friend group because of this guy, you know, that sort of thing. Don't try this yourself. It's extremely dangerous. Okay, I'm going to make this middle cut, this very important middle cut. I'm going to make this middle cut first. Okay, cool. Well, Sar, I think I'm really shooting for Halloween, to be done by Halloween. Let me show you a little bit of my progress so far. This goes for anybody who's just tuning in now who hasn't seen it. Let me show you how far I've come. This, of course, is the helmet. Is the helmet piece. Still needs some work, embellishments, and so on and so forth. This is the left arm, the offhand. Pretty much done. I might add some LEDs here on this ribbed portion, and then the chest plate. I've just got the front of the chest plate done. The back piece will be, forthcoming. Just doing one piece at a time. Eating the elephant one spoonful at a time. Sorry about that. Yeah, Halloween. Halloween's the hope. Now, will that in fact happen? Ugh. Let's see. right now I'm working on one of the leg pieces. However, if I'm not... So, hopefully at the beginning of October, I've got all of the cutting work done for especially all of the main pieces, because at the very least, I will have Buster, offhand, chest, back, plate, and helmet completely done by October 31st, so that people will know that I'm Mega Man. But yeah. Thanks! Thank you very much, Cowboys. I'm glad that you like it. I've been doing a lot of work, but you know what? You would not believe how much more enjoyable streaming makes this work. You know what? I'll just cut that off. Yeah, no need to hang on to that bit. Let's just get this last little piece here. There we go. Fly so much higher. Ooh. Yikes. Almost lost the blade of Exact Zero. I thought it was feeling a little strange. Okay, now obviously I'm not going to be able to get this last little bit of rounded, but I'll have to do it with the Dremel tool. Imagine how people enjoy watching people build and set up furniture in their houses on stream. I'm sorry, what? People enjoy watching other people put together furniture? That seems... I mean, I'm all about interacting with someone, but that seems a little much for me. But streaming does make it easier to do a task, even one that requires a lot of concentration. Having people to talk to enjoy, and sadly, I mean, I've got people IRL that I could do that with. But the problem is that they just don't. Is that the people who are my friends don't really tend to enjoy the same things I do quite as much. So interesting, very interesting. Welcome back, Skeleton. Welcome back. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. I've seen someone stream themselves setting up their house, and they have about a few thousand viewers. I'm glad that you like the long walks that I take on the beach, Sir JJ. Well, as an experiment, I did that Slurpee quest, where I did the trip, the motorcycle ride, and I was quite pleased with the turnout for that. People seemed to enjoy Slurpee quest, and yeah. Am I using anything special to glue the foam together? Good question, Hoffman. Nope, not special. Just going to be using hot glue to glue the foam together. Hot glue. Now, there are people who are really good at this who swear by a thing called barge cement. And for example, Evil Ted Smith on YouTube, he doesn't have a Twitch presence, but he does have a YouTube where he does tutorials. And Evil Ted Smith, he swears by barge cement. Now, other people swear by hot glue. There are advantages and disadvantages to each. For example, barge cement is a contact cement. So basically, it's really, really good for big pieces. So, like, for example, the chest piece has 2 plates on it. When I was gluing one to the other, it would have been very useful to have used barge cement, or contact cement, because the contact cement would have been, I would have layered up both sides with contact cement, let it dry for a little bit, and then put them together in the position I wanted, and bam, it would have been pretty much instant. But for smaller things, the hot glue is particularly a lot better because you can still deform it a little bit if you need to get it just into the right spot. It doesn't produce harmful fumes really like barge cement, and it's easier to work with on smaller stuff. Buy their costumes, but building it seems more fun. It really is. But the fact of the matter is, let's say you want a costume of your favorite, your favorite character, like mine, Mega Man. I have no choice but to build mine. Nobody makes Mega Man costumes. It's not a thing. But here we are. Here we are, making one ourselves. One thing that is kind of nice about this foam is that it's dense enough that I can actually make good solid cuts right up to the edge. That pleases me. I'm going to try cleaning that edge just a little bit because, yeah, I can do it. This foam's really, really good for detail. Man. This is terrific foam. I like it. Foamies. Foamies for the win. Alright. So we've got our 2 pieces. And we've got... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place all the pieces together on the table so that you can see it. Sadly, I will have to Dremel this, which means I'll have to cut the stream and go outside to do the Dremeling before this will be done. But, so, here's the top. Here's the, here's up here where the knee is going to be. And then these 2 pieces will go down here like this. And the whole thing will be bent, to go around my knee. These pieces as well. Now, under other circumstances, I might have bent this on, used the heat gun to bend this stuff on stream. But the problem is that's something I'm going to have to do after I get done Dremeling, because it's harder for me to get this stuff off of a curved surface than it is for me to get it off of a flat surface. So what I'll wind up doing is I'll Dremel the textured side off where I need it gone, which is basically going to be this whole area here. All these bits that are covered, I'm going to need to Dremel the stuff off of that whole area, and then I'll bend the pieces. I'll actually Dremel them a little bit inside of the lines, so about a centimeter or so back from the lines, and then I'll bend it, and I'll bend all the pieces to their approximate conformation, and then I'll glue them onto here in the space after they've all been bent and done. However, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go outside and Dremel it now, and I'll record it as well, as by popular demand. but I will wait to do the gluing until the next time that I can stream, because as I understand it, quite a few of you want to see that part done. So anyway, yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask me some questions while I go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit. I think Mrs. Mack and I are probably going to have 2 of these. Are probably going to have some company over. But please, ask your questions about really much of anything. You know, you want to know what I think about this? The worst that can happen is I'll tell you, yeah, I'd rather not answer that question. So, go for it. To our people on YouTube, even though the people on Twitch won't be able to see your questions, I'll still answer them because I've got both chats up and available for watching. So, for me, at least, if that makes sense. That was like a horrible run-on sentence that didn't make any sense at all. But let's see. Question, is YouTube watching too? Yes. Yes. People are watching on YouTube. Now, I'm going to hang on to... naturally, of course, I'm going to hang on to the patterns that I've cut, because I'll need to cut another one of these. Actually, I could probably... Sir JJ says hello. I could probably make another one of these. I could probably make a second. If you guys are really having that good of a time watching me, I could cut the second out right now. Should I? Should I keep the stream going and cut out the second one? Oh. Sorry, I got a text from a friend who wants to see something a little bit later today. Do it, okay? Okay, Sir JJ, I think I will. Let me just check on something real quick. Max, 3:20 p.m. and 5 p.m. Oh, keep it going. Okay, Tyler, you got it. Okay, you got it. You got it. We'll keep it rolling. Thanks for hopping in on YouTube, by the way. Let me just go ahead and tie this up, and we'll get started on leg number 2. So clearly today is leg day. Oh gosh, I'm so clever. Not really. Alright, so we know that this is easy enough to do. This is the single hardest piece to do in this project, and this is easy peasy. So let me just get my patterns back out here. Let's put the finished pieces over there. Toss the bag here, and let's get the other piece. Gonna keep this rolling. Was that an exercise joke? Yes, it was an exercise joke. So I have a group of friends, right? One of which is actually a professional trainer. That's what she does. She trains people to exercise properly and such. And all of this group of friends, all of them are very outdoorsy. As a matter of fact, one of them texted me a moment ago. but I call them collectively the Wilderfolk, not only because they are all out there. Oh, just not exercise. Okay. So, where are we? And we're there. Alright, so that's where we want to be. Oh, well, I don't want to cut from this side. Gosh. But do I have a choice? I guess I always have a choice. But, I'll just have to do the best that I can. So, anyway, collectively, the Wilderfolk, fantastic people, nice people, awesome. They all, one of them's a personal trainer, and she does a very good job of her work. But anyway, so I'm not big into exercise. I have little intention of exercising until the zombies are actually here. So I do very frequently, pick up the lingo and stuff like that. Alright. So let's get started. Just like last time, we're actually going to make this one as well a little larger than is necessary. And, yeah, because it's easy to trim off what you don't need. It's very, very hard and looks terrible if you try and add pieces. I've tried this. It is not a good train. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd probably be streaming different music, but because I really want to make sure that this, that number one, there's no copyright claim, because, gosh, I hate copyright claims on YouTube, and number two, because I don't want the stream to be muted on Twitch, we are going with no copyright music. With stuff from no copyright sounds. So, don't even joke like that. Could I tell you, I've had, especially when I wind up getting a video that explodes in popularity, I usually get a copyright claim on it, because somebody wants to cash in on my, on my ad revenue, which is funny because I make next to nothing. What with the increased prevalence of ad blockers for people, it's even less so. Which is one of the reasons why I went to Patreon for good people like Drunken Wolf, which reminds me. DW, I've been meaning to do that for a while, but I just haven't thought about it. So, congrats on your sword, buddy. You've earned it. But yeah, which is one of the reasons why I made a Patreon account, because, ad revenue just doesn't do it. It did it at one point in time. Yeah, no problem. And again, sorry, I've been meaning to do that for a while, but it's, but it's been, I've just, it's one of those things where it's, when I think about it, you're not around. And so, I mean, I suppose I could type / add mod or something like that, drunken wolf. But again, you know, out of eye shot, out of mind shot, as the Germans would say. Oh, would I? What? Oh, you're reading the Dresden books right now, if I'm not mistaken. Judging from your Twitter account. Because yes, I do pay attention to the stuff that you put on Twitter, so I know what you've been saying about me. But yeah, so I have had many friends recommend the Dresden Files to me, and yeah, but what characters specifically are you thinking of? Michael, and he's a Knight of the Cross. He wields an Amoricus. Amoricus. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term, Amoricus. The swords of the cross have nails in them from the actual cross, as the story goes. Wow! Interesting. So, are you saying that you perceive me as a Jesus freak? No. In all honesty, that does sound very interesting. It sounds like, at least, especially if we're going by Catholic mythology, or not mythology. I can't think of the right word, so we'll just stick with mythology for the time being. But if we're going by Catholic mythology, then it almost certainly has superpowers, probably imbued exorcism powers in it. So anyway, there we go. That's our left leg. Is also known as Excalibur. King Arthur used the same sword as in the story. You would identify with him, and he is awesome. Dogma. Well, interestingly enough, the definition, doctrine is things that are truth and endorsed by the church or whatever the body is, the official body. Dogma is things that are believed but not endorsed. So I think that might be the case. Yeah, it's probably dogma. Even though I'm not sure that it is one of those words that I don't think most people use it the way that it's actually is. Therefore, you have a lot of people who, it's hard to say. I mean, languages are evolving. I mean, is it the misuse when you use the term utilize? Because the actual definition of the term utilize is to use something for a way, in a fashion in which it was not intended to be used, such as Sean utilized a record to kill a zombie. Long play records were never intended as a zombie hunting device, or even something that was intended to cause damage. So clearly it fits into utilize, but it's been misused for so long by so many that it has taken on that as a new definition. So who am I to argue with the will of the people? They want to utilize everything. I mean, of course, the denotation of utilize these days is to use, but to use it in but to use it more so, like to use it particularly efficiently. We need to utilize this man's skills more. That's what people say about it. Wolf reads good books. There's some sexual content and harsh language, but not much. You know, I'm not stranger to the occasional risque moment in a piece of film or literature. Although I do, on the whole, try to avoid anything particularly harsh. But did you say it was the Dresden Files, or did you say it was something else? Utilize with us, Mac. Become one of us. Well, this one, my knife has to be especially sharp for this cut, because this is the cut that I'm making at 45 degrees. And if my blade isn't sharp, then I'm actually not going to be able to make a good cut, and that'll make for a lot of extra work with the Dremel. And frankly, because I've got that thing whirring at, 35,000 rotations per minute with a fine grit sandpaper, I would prefer to leave as little of that to the dremeling as possible. Okay. That's good. That's good stuff. Let's just wipe it off real quick. Okay. Good, good. Yes, it is the Dresden Files. Okay. Good, good. Okay. Alright, so, basically, just as a little bit of a recap for people who weren't here, we've got, we want the beveled edges on these. And to get those, because we're beveling toward the smooth side, we need to do the design on the rough side and cut inward like that. Now, you could theoretically do it the opposite way, but the problem is that's just so unwieldy that the only real option for me is to do it that way. Those people who are professionals, or at the very least who are better than me at this, they might find that easy, they might find that doable, but sadly, they're not me, I am not they, and so we need to carry on. Okay. Let's try and not mess this up, Mac. Let's start from here. I like the idea of starting from this side. I will be pulling toward me. So, try not to go crazy. Now let's see. 90 45. I'm going to go all the way through so we don't have to worry about this piece, but you can see the edge on that is very smooth because of my sharpening of the thing. So if you do this yourself, you must, anytime you do one of these things, you simply must sharpen your blade immediately before a 45-degree cut. Now, it's really hard to do a curved bit in the 45 degree, and I tend to gouge quite deeply when I'm coming in from the side like that, but nothing to be done. It's gotta happen. I'm getting buzzed, so give me just a moment after I make this cut. What do we got? Oh hey, thanks Teach Pierce, much appreciated for the retweeting. Much appreciated. Okay. Okay, and a sharp knife makes all the difference in the world. they say that the number one cause of accidental cuttings, of accidental injuries with a knife, are because of dull knives, because you wind up putting more force in it than you need to, and you wind up cutting yourself that way. So yeah, as you can see, this bevel comes out because of that. I'm very glad I got myself one of these self-healing mats, even if it's not the best. I'm sure that there's better ones out there. I basically just have to pull through all in one go. Okay, and we'll be coming back for that bit there. And then that piece is always kind of difficult. Who is that? What? Okay. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I've gotta... Okay, who the heck are you? Well, he's got a lot of followers, that's for sure. Okay, probably just a robot. Anyway, let's see, here we go. More? Okay. There we go. If a robot watches, does it still count as a viewer? Not to me, it doesn't. Not to me! Hi, darling. Welcome home. Oh, did I leave that in the car last night? Is it okay?
I think so.
Okay, good.
Hey.
Good. Would you pass me the, would you do me a favor and pass me the painting? Or the photograph?
Do you want it out of the bubble wrap?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna show you guys something. For those of you who've watched the last time we talked, you reduced me to Tia's. A while back, I went on a trip to a beautiful, magical place called Havasupai. A friend of ours, who's a very good photographer, came along, and the other night she presented us with a photo that she took. And I was just... Anyway, it's going up. It's going up inside the house. Not exactly sure where yet at the moment, but it's absolutely going up. And that's the waterfall. That's the main waterfall. A lovely photo of the waterfall. How did the workshop go, darling?
Really well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How many did you have in attendance?
Just two.
Just two. Okay.
But it was still really good.
Good.
And they loved it, and they were nice and awesome. So.
Good. Well, darn well, they had better be nice and awesome. Darn tootin'. So, welcome. So, are we going to go...
Food? Yes.
Well, I was going to say, are we going to go to the 3:20 showing, or the 5 p.m. showing of Mad Max, do you think?
Whichever one is best for you.
I can do either. I'm almost, I mean, not quite, but I'm getting close to being done with the stream tonight, because once I finish this off, I'm going to need to have the time to Dremel it, but I can't do that on stream. The 5 o'clock? Okay.
Because I am ready when you are ready.
Okay. Man, this is a lot more difficult than the last one was. This one's going to need a bit more dremeling than its predecessor, sadly. Wow. Or maybe this blade needs some sharpening, that could be it, but it seems to be cutting all right. Oh gosh, that is terrible. Let's see if I can't clean it a little bit with this. Looks like I can, just a little bit. Hopefully a little bit. Oh. Ugh. Yikes. Okay, come on. Just a little bit more. Okay. I'll fix that with the Dremel. I have to. I've got no other choice. I mean, it's not going to get fixed any other way, but at the very least I can clean up the edges right now. And then we can get to work on the craft foam. Now I'm cutting this little frilly edge here with my blade of exact 0. Trying not to cut too much. But this is one of the reasons why we build a little bit larger than we need, so that if something goes wrong and I need to trim, I've got the space to trim. So how's everybody's Saturday going? Does anybody have plans for? Anybody have fun plans for tonight? Mrs. Mac and I are going to go catch a video with some friends. You know, cleaning these edges makes a world of difference in the appearance of the piece. It really does. Just getting these little bitty edges off of here almost makes you feel like it's, hey, this is ready. This is pretty good work. Almost. I'm gonna see it on my butt. Good reference to the Goofy movie, man. Good Goofy movie reference. Indeed. Haven't you ever seen my Powerline t-shirt? Open up your eyes, take a look at me. Get this picture fixed in your memory. It's not a question of if, just a matter of time before I move to the front of the line. And if you're watching every move that I make, you gotta believe that I got what it takes to stand out above the crowd. Even if I gotta shout out loud, till mine is the only face you see. Gonna stand out, do you notice me? So it's not the best singing ever, but it's the notes somewhere in there. The notes were probably somewhat right. Now, this is not necessarily rubbish here. This is just stuff that I'll be hanging on to for later. Alright, another sheet of the black foam, and... Now, these things, actually, interestingly enough, these pieces are almost the same price as the big pieces of foam. Oh, here it is. My sister's and mine's favorite part was Lester's Possum Park. Oh, that was fantastic. I'm glad that you guys liked it, but liked my rendition. But yeah, Lester's Possum Park. Oh my gosh, that was the best. Such good memories of Lester's Possum Park. But yeah, my Powerline T-shirt was made by a friend of mine, and it says Powerline live in Los Angeles, 95, and it's fantastic, and it's got the same font as that Powerline poster in the back. He got serious about it. He screen capped that scene in Max's room where he's got the Powerline poster, and screen capped it, blew it up, did his magic, and then made a shirt. It's actually funny because he now works for Disney. He's on the Disney Infinity series, or the Disney Infinity team, and he got that way by making they had that sort of like toy box thing, and so he made some custom maps. And they thought they were good enough that they offered him a job, which is pretty cool. I mean, it is a shame because I don't get any special treatment because he's, he's not like, he's not like the biggest thing since sliced bread or anything. But someday I hope to be able to get into the offices that they have there, and maybe do an interview with somebody there. I did wind up running into some people from EA Games at GameStop Expo, and I got in touch with one guy, and I was like, hey, look, this is who I am, this is what I do. I've tried in the past, but didn't really have any success getting a meeting with people for an interview. I don't suppose you could, pass my information along to somebody in the mobile division, because that would just be fantastic. And he said he would, so we'll see. Probably nothing will come of it. I can almost guarantee nothing will come of it, but what was that thing that Michael Scott from The Office used to say? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Michael Scott. Wayne Gretzky. Okay. Last piece. Last piece, boyos. We're in it to win it. I wonder if that Lester's Possum Park thing served as inspiration for the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. The broken down, very creepy looking, not only place, but creepy looking robots. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was inspiration. Oh, what? You don't like boyos? I've used boyos for many a year. My it's actually something that my that my family members of mine have said. It's been their slang. But yeah, so I just kind of picked it up from them. Well, maybe I can save that. We'll just see. Okay. Can we save it? Maybe. You use it, but rarely. Kappa? What's with the kappa there? Nice. Maybe. I might have to redo it, which is kind of a shame because each one of these sheets costs $2, which is as much as the big EVA foam, the foam mats, the big textured ones. But you know, if you have to do it, you have to do it. You know, I picked the wrong time of day to stream. We've had a couple of followers, but nothing like we've usually had. Usually, I'll get a period where we get like 7 to 10, you know, on one of these creative streams. I am lay disappoint. Who's not telling their friends? Hmm? Nope. We'll just have to Dremel that bit out. Okay. Oh, you going to go tell some more of your friends, Sir JJ? Good, good. Cool. Alright, so we've got our pieces. You know, I think we can save that. I think so. Okay, and so now, as a recap, on my kneecap, we'll have these pieces situated like so, and like so, on the thing here. And so what will happen is we'll put this here, and these here, like so. And then we will peak to peak, there we go. And we'll Dremel out the inside of this whole area here. So let me just make some marks. Now it's actually young ones, not young once. Even though you would be forgiven for thinking that they were saying they say you're only young once. Live on. Okay, good. So now I know that basically this whole bit, I've got to Dremel sand this stuff out from there, and from here, as well as from there. And you know what? While I'm here, I may as well make the similar markings on this. Okay. So basically, what we're dealing with at this point is it's just time to Dremel. Time to Dremel on the two big pieces and the two knee guard pieces. And yeah, maybe someday. You see, the problem is because I stream from inside, I just can't stream that. If I had a workshop or even a garage, if I had a garage, you better believe it would be happening. And it could happen, but sadly, as is, where I lack all of those important components. But I will absolutely record me Dremeling just so that it can be seen. So thanks everybody for coming around. It's been 3 hours. When we return next, when we come back next, everyone will be able to see the what's it calls it. Everyone will be able to see the the finished, the post Dremeled. Why not Dremel Adventures? Dremel Quest, really. But when everybody comes back next time, when we start working on it again, we'll take the freshly Dremeled or at least the finished Dremeled pieces, and we'll heat them up, we'll mold them, we'll sculpt them, and then we will glue them together. So you'll be able to catch that on stream as well. So I'm going to get washed up. Thanks everybody for coming around. It was fantastic to have you. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you next time. No problem, Skirner. To everybody who came out today, Drunken Wolf, Kamace, or JJ, Skirner, Cowboys, Gaming Raccoon, and who I don't know, who was the other person who showed up on YouTube? Video Games 223. Everybody, thank you so much for helping to make this be a very fun stream. a very good time. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did, and yeah, thank you, because this makes it so much easier to get myself ready for Halloween. So take it easy, and we will see you next time.